Hey guys, it's Brandon from Dolphin Quest, and I'm here again to talk about some beginner stuff with, Magic the Gathering Arena. And I hope this is helpful to you guys. Any beginners out there, which I myself am a beginner to Magic Arena, but as for, Magic the Gathering itself, I've actually been playing since Theros. So I am definitely not what I'd call a, super long time player or anything, but I have played, consistently on and off since Theros came out. Anyway, so today I wanted to talk a little bit about a deck tech for one of the Risen Reef decks, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the crafting system. So I'm going to pull up the deck now so we can check it out. Alright, so this deck I just kind of called Lands just because it really reminds me of some of the older land decks from the ye old days before my time in Magic. But essentially it's kind of like a control deck, but it's kind of mid-range at the same time. I don't really know how to classify it. But yeah, so anyway, as it starts out, I was talking about this deck is named after kind of Risen Reef just because its ability. So essentially what this card lets you do is anytime you cast it or an elemental, it will trigger and then it lets you look at the top card in your library. If it's a land, it lets you play it tapped. If it is something other than a land, you just draw the card. So for one, a green and a blue, this card comes with a ton of value. Now the downside to this is this card is also what I like to call a lightning rod, which basically means as soon as it comes down, your opponent knows exactly what deck you're playing out of a possible 2 or 3 decks, I would have to say. So expect it to get killed. If you have to wait to use it, go for it. But besides that, this is the namesake of the deck, and this is how it works. So I'm going to go back to the top and talk about some of my other stuff. So here we have Unsummon. Basically, it's for removal, but it's also for protection. So if one of your opponents wants to murder or shock or basically just kill one of your Risen Reefs, you probably want to use this on it, depending on the situation. Of course, you could also hold it up for their creatures. So if it's a deck that plays a lot of huge creatures, you're going to want to use an Unsummon on that to get rid of it. Also, we have Negate. So if they do decide to kill your Risen Reef or any of your other creatures, anything that they want to kill that you don't want killed with an instant or a sorcery, you're going to want to use this. It also helps against Planeswalker decks because it stops them too. Like any card that's not a land or a creature, because lands aren't spells, I'll just correct myself on that right then and there, Negate will stop it from hitting the battlefield. Okay, next we have Growth Cycle. I use this as kind of a way to either finish a match or stop something from getting burned to death. So whether they use Lightning Strike or Shock or something along those lines, even if you just have a 1/1, this should stop it. But if they decide to, say double shock it or use 2 burn spells, I would consider that a win just because of the fact that they're using so many resources just to get rid of one of your creatures. Besides that, we have Rabid Bite, which this is just in case you don't have any other thing that you could do. Or if you have your Risen Reef down, on turn 3, nothing to play on turn 4, and they're using one of their Healer's Hawks or one of their smaller creatures, use this, essentially. Next, we have Growth Spiral. I only use 2 of these because I've found that they don't help all that much. I mean, it's more of a redundancy that it replaces itself in your hand if you don't find a land. So that's kind of why I use these, and the deck's kind of worked okay without it. Besides that, Cloud Conceer. Now, this has basically triple benefits. So, the first benefit is the fact that I don't know how many benefits it has. I'm just going to list them here. Okay, benefit 1. It's a flyer, so you could block their flyers. Benefit 2, it's a 2/1, which means that some of the creatures they might drop on turn 1 or 2 will more than likely be killed by this, so that's good. The third thing is that it draws you a card when it enters the battlefield. Of course, that's always good. Anyone who plays blue knows that a free card draw without having to pay life or extra mana or anything like that is really good. And the second thing, or fourth thing, I'm sorry, is that it's an elemental. So when your Cloud Concealer comes out, it will activate your Risen Reef, which gives you the same trigger that would happen if the Risen Reef itself entered the battlefield. And also, they stack together. So say you have 4 Risen Reefs out, the ability is going to happen 4 times, and that's going to get you ahead. Frost Links. It's an elemental, so it does the same thing as the Cloud Concealer. When it comes out, it taps a creature an opponent controls. That's really useful if they have something big or something that taps for mana, or just something you want to attack through. Yeah, and it's a 2/2, so it stands up a little bit better than other things. Murder, I talked about this in my last video. This card's really good just for unconditional destruction of creatures. I like using it at the end of their turn when they first summon something, just because then I know that their resources are not available to them, and I can swing through if I need to. Death Sprout's also great. It does the same thing with Murder, with the exception that it lets you search for a basic land card and put it out. That's going to be really helpful, especially in the late game, and I'll explain why in a minute. Cavalier of Thorns is really good. At first, I didn't see the second part of its ability, so I thought it just comes out, you look at the top 5, you put a land card onto the battlefield, but the cool thing is, if this monster does die, then you get to grab one of the cards from your graveyard, any card, and put it on top of your library. So this can be really good. It works well with the Risen Reef because it's an elemental, so when it comes out it triggers that ability. Also, it works really good with Rabid Bite because of the fact that it is a 5/6, so it's going to be doing a lot of damage. It'll knock out a slew of different creatures, and yeah, in general it's a lot of value in this deck, but I only keep one just because the converted mana cost is very high. Okay, next we have Flood of Tears. So this card is really good if you're behind, especially if both of you have a lot of creatures out. If they're playing a deck that has higher converted mana costs, or they're playing a token deck, the best part of this is if they have 100 tokens out on the battlefield, and you use this, it's going to get rid of all their tokens, and it is going to kill them permanently, so they can't get them back. So if they have an empty hand and a bunch of tokens and a couple creatures, it's going to get rid of it. But the best part about this is, say you have, 4 of your Risen Reefs out and one of your bigger creatures, what's going to end up happening with that is, once your stuff comes back to your hand, if you have 4 or more permanents, you could put one of them back, so you could decide whatever is better. So I will also explain why that's good as well. Besides that, Voracious Hydra. This is something I use more for removal than anything because it tends to come later game, and I have it come down and destroy one of their creatures. Whether or not it sticks around is purely situational, but sometimes if it's early game, you can have it come out as a bigger creature for value with the second ability, first ability that doubles its counter. So it's a good utility to have. Besides that, Hydroid Crisis, this is specifically to refill your hand and also just gain you life. It's also a flyer, so it has evasion, so you could get a very big one out. But generally speaking, I like to use even numbers when I cast this guy, just because you have to decide, is this one extra point of power and toughness worth the extra mana that you're not gonna benefit from, besides it being a little bit stronger. Besides that, I have a ton of lands in this deck for the simple reason of the payoff. So forests, swamp, island, those are my basics. Dismal Backwater because it covers 2 of the colors and gains you a life. Same thing with this, except you can pay 2 life and have it come untapped, so it's a bit faster. Same thing, life gain, fast. Then Guild Gates, just because I wanted extra lands in this deck. Then we have Cryptic Caves, which I don't usually use its ability too much. If it's really late game and I need it, I will. Evolving Wilds, I usually don't crack this when I first get it, unless I am set up to be able to benefit from it. Then we have Field of the Dead, Gateway Plaza, and then Lotus Field. These 2, it's just nothing special with them. It's just to kind of get land out. But anyway, back to Field of the Dead. Essentially what happens with this is, if you control 7 different lands with different names, and Field of the Dead counts in that. So if you have Field of the Dead and then 6 other lands with different names, it'll activate, and then you get a 2/2 zombie creature token. And then every time you put out a land, you're going to get more and more of those, essentially. So say you have 2 of them on the field. Every time you play a land, you will get 2 of the zombies. If you have all 4 out, it's going to happen like that. It also activates on itself, too. So say you have 1 on the battlefield, 6 other lands, and you put this one out, it's going to come out, the other one's going to see it enter, and then this will see it enter as well, so you'll get the 2 zombies from that. So that's the main payoff of the deck, where you just get a ton of zombie tokens. It doesn't always happen. Sometimes you win beforehand, sometimes you win after the zombies, and sometimes you just lose, which this deck is very, very bad against mono red or any really fast decks. So what I'm going to do with this is I'll walk you through the deck while I play, and then we'll we'll discuss it a little bit. Alright, so let's go home, play, and then we'll pick the lands. More than anything for the video, just because these tend to be pretty long videos, I noticed with my first one. I'm actually hoping that it's just kind of a one-and-done win with this. If not, what I'll do is I'll just play another round or something, or I'll figure it out, because I want you guys to see like how the deck could win, and honestly, how the deck could lose would probably be some good information as well. So, yeah, let's go for it. So this is a hand that's like, it's okay. It's not the best, but I'm going to keep it anyway, just because I want to see how this goes. So, if you don't have anything really to play on the first turn, you're going to want to put out your tap lands first, because they're a bit slower. He's playing black-white, which can go one of 2 ways. I feel like he is more than likely going to be playing some sort of lifelink vampires deck. Yeah, he's playing a similar Death Touch deck, so... Yeah, so, okay, so the good news is I have access to pretty much all my colors and everything. So what I'm going to do this to draw a card, and then I'm going to block with this if need be. And I drew my murder, which is good. Now I just need to draw, like, another land or something. Yeah, he's playing... Okay, I'm not going to block this. I think he's playing black-white aggro, which is fun, I guess you could say. Afterlife 2. Okay, so that's going to put out 2 flyers if it ends up dying. So I'm going to have this enter tap just because there's not really too much I could do. But what I can do is at least control what he does a bit. And then we have Evolving Wilds anyway, so... We'll see what could happen, because this could really go either way. I mean, this is a bit of an aggro deck. It's not as fast as black-white, but it can be hard, to say the least. Okay. So he's going to get a bunch of that. So I'm not going to block here. I mean, he could possibly just whittle me down at this point, but not really sure. Next time I'm going to block, and then I'm just going to unsummon his token. So, yeah, that's what I'll do. So, as I said before, so he's going to get some tokens and stuff, which is going to be a little bit annoying, but if a creature dying, showing an ability... Okay, so yeah, they're just going to try to burn me out, which this deck became a lot faster, so... Alright, let's do this. I'll try to empty their board before anything happens, so... Ooh, that's not good. Yep, that's a good deck, alright. Okay. Yeah, so as I said before, this is going to be me losing, because there's no real good way to get back from this. So at least it happened quick, though, because then we could, you know, do some other stuff, I guess. But, yeah, I guess what I'll do is I'll just show Risen Reef and what that does, because I'm about to get destroyed here pretty much. But, okay, let's see what happens. Okay, so as I said, this deck is not good against mono red, and it's not good against really aggro decks. I mean, this is a cool deck, though. I mean, I gotta give it to this guy. Or girl, or person. Okay. So yeah, Afterlife deck. Pretty cool. Alright, that's fine. Alright, so he is going to deal 6 damage to me, more than likely, yeah, not quite killing me, but okay. Temple of Mystery, 5... Okay, well that doesn't help me at all. So, anyway guys, as I said, this deck wins spectacularly and it loses spectacularly. So, anyway, I am going to wish them a good game. No reason to waste either of our time. Yeah, so, yeah, losing happens, but, you know, no reason to be a bad sport about it or anything, because, sometimes this happens. I've noticed it less since I kind of got out of, like, the beginner bracket of playing, where it's like, oh, you've never played before, we're going to put you against beginners, where people will... I can't say that they're doing it on purpose, but people will sometimes end up, essentially, like, playing really slow for no reason. But, yeah, sometimes they'll, you know, they just end up doing that. But anyway, not a good hand, not keepable. This isn't much better, but I will keep it. I'll just put one of the Crasises at the bottom, and then I'll keep the other stuff. So, yeah, anyway, so basically with this one, I'm starting out with a tap land, and then, yeah, and now they know my whole strategy, so... Yeah, so they're going to be watching out for everything I do. Pretty much all my creatures are going to become lightning rods at this point, but what can you do, right? Anyway, yeah, so I'm going to put this down just because I have a feeling they're going to play something I'm going to want to negate. I don't know what it is right at this point. I feel like they're going to try to look at my hand because they're in black, or something along that lines. Man. Everyone's playing Death Touch now. Alright, I'll pay the 2 life so I could at least have my Frost Links come out, and then I'll tap that thing for a turn so it's at least, you know, out of the way for a little bit. But I'm going to be looking out for Murders, I'm going to be looking out for Disfigures, which gives you -2, -2. Or just that, you know, that's another good one. Reassembling Skeleton, so we were playing against black aggro, it looks like. Which can be a bit of a problem, seeing as I don't have green either, so... Ooh. Okay. So, this is essentially the mono-black version of what I was playing in the last video, which, I guess this is what it feels like, then. Oh, man. So, I'm dead right now, so I am going to bid good game to them, and then I will be seeing myself out. Huh. Sorry guys, eating lunch. Anyway. So, yeah, with that whole thing, I swear I've won with this deck before. I don't think it's like a terrible deck, but... It's a possibility. I mean, I've noticed a lot of people playing a lot more, you know, kind of aggro, which, as I said, this deck falls on its face in front of, unless you really get everything you need. Which can be a little bit difficult, but, yeah, okay. It gives me choices, at least, so... So the good thing with this is this gateway plaza. So even though it's going to put me behind a couple turns, it will at least let me tap for any color. So when I start getting my kill spells and stuff, I could actually use them. Yeah. I swear I'm not a bad player, guys. Okay. So let's see. Black-red, which is usually also a problem. The funny thing is I'm probably going to have to actually edit this and just, like, use footage of me actually winning a game with this deck. But, yeah, I mean, that's okay, I guess. Well, actually, this isn't too bad. I mean, all things considered, because I could do this. I'll have this come out. I'll tap it. Do that. I got my unsummons. I got a bunch of different lands and stuff. So, all in all, I think I'll probably be okay here. Okay, and I got my murder too, so nice. Alright, we'll play that and then we'll go into some attacks. Alright, and I'm set up okay. Just judging by the fact that he doesn't have, like... well, there's his red, so he might actually start burning me out, which can be a little bit of an issue, but it's okay. This creature's not really going to do... Okay, yeah, he decided to just pass on, so... Another murder. Once again, that doesn't really help me too much, but you know what? I'm gonna... what should I do here? Should I use that and then just... I guess I could do that because it's a swamp and a forest, so they should come up a little bit quicker. Yeah, we'll do that, and then we'll just kind of give them the next turn. So, yeah, okay, here we go. No attacks, and then we'll go into their turn. I think they're probably going to start trying to burn me out with this, but worst comes worst if that happens. If they try to kill this with a burn spell, I'm going to return it to my hand, and then I could continue tapping this. This makes me believe they're probably playing more of a control deck at this point, so I'm not sure. The good news is I have a ton of mana right now, so... So I'll use my Cloud Conceer, and then I have 3 mana held up on this, so if I really need to, I can kill something, but it doesn't seem like it's fully 100% necessary just yet. And there we go, we got our Field of the Dead, so that's going to bring us to 5 lands. No attacks right now. So that's going to bring us to 5 lands, so I should start getting to do stuff later, but I'm kind of just waiting to see what they're, you know, going to come out with right now. Because it's kind of getting to the point where, you know, with this deck, if they don't start doing something real soon, it's going to be, you know, a big problem for them. Okay, here it is. I expect them to try to kill one of these. Let's see what happens. I just kind of want them to use up their resources, so... Okay. There we go. That'll help me out next turn, too, because it'll, you know, draw me a card at least. There we go. So that spell will fizzle out. And then they're probably going to try to shock. Next to damage. Okay. Alright, so nothing really, you know, happened there. They're probably... Oh, never mind. I thought they were going to shock my creature, but... So at this point, I'm going to use the Cloud Conceer again. Before the end of my turn, Yeah, I'm going to murder that. It's not that bad, but... he spent a lot of mana on it, so I could at least reward that. And... yes! Okay, good. He gets a treasure token, which, I mean, for... how much did that cost? 3 for a treasure token. That's actually not terrible. Alright, so now we'll be, ooh! Okay, so now this is going to be kind of put into my game because... so, he's creating treasure tokens and he's going to have a lot of mana and stuff, but that's not really going to mean a whole lot soon. Alright, let's do Field of the Dead, and then... this is when the deck should start going off a little bit. Hopefully I start hitting lands. Okay, that's good too. So then... and I have a Frost Lynx too, so... oh, okay. So it's both of us then. So the problem here is that... actually, not much of a problem. He's going to kill my Risen Reef, definitely, but... ah, here we go. Okay, I was wondering when he was going to... okay, so I am not going to block this, but this is going to leave me open for attackers, and then I'm just going to tap this thing down, essentially. So it's, hopefully the deck starts going off at this point, because I have 2 enchantment creatures that I could use, and I could honestly kill this if I need to, but, yeah, I need to start worrying about this Teferi, though, so... so I'm going to block with my Cloudkin Seer. Ah, there it is. Okay, that's fine. Well, I could always go with the whole enchantment thing. Watery Grave, let's see. Oh, each opponent must attack. Okay, I got it. Understandable. So, this is basically how this is going to go. So, that is going to get tapped down. You know what? Do I even want this here anymore? I don't know. I'm going to... pay 2 life for that. Yeah, I definitely just want that out of here. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to send everything at Teferi. Just because he's going to be the biggest problem right now. And then if he gets some more creatures... it is going to be a bit of a problem because his Teferi's going bye-bye. I wouldn't be surprised if he just cast another one to try to... yep, there we go. Just drawing a card. So, right now he is extremely behind. I don't think he uses a lot of creatures, but I do have this Murder up just in case I need it. And I just need to get, like, 1 more land to start... getting my zombie tokens out, and then as far as control decks go, this is, you know, gonna start whittling him down because he's kind of just getting to this point. But what's he deciding to do is my question. Okay, mana geode. Resolve. So he's going to use that. He used up... okay, so he used up 3 lands, so he has access to 5 total with the treasure tokens. Ah, there it is, but it's going to die anyway. Yep. Yeah, so I just gotta basically kill that, and then... Now, the problem with this, though, is that it comes back because it gets put the 3rd from the top. I couldn't imagine a situation where they wouldn't have that happen, but that's totally okay, because I feel like he's gonna sacrifice mostly his treasure tokens. He's probably just deciding if he wants to leave up any mana right now, but... yeah, even if he does, I think I'll probably be able to kill this thing. Okay, so yeah, he really went for it on that. Yeah, so I basically don't even have to worry about killing Teferi at this point. I just kind of have to... Alright, so this is how this is going to go, basically. Ooh, that's a good way to go, too, but anyway. I'm going to start with this. See if he counters it. Yep, okay. That'll be good. Next, we're going to go to combat. Okay, bring him a little bit lower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I'm just going to use this for now, and then I'm going to get a really big Crisis next turn. Oh, and that'll help too, so end turn. So he has a lot of cards in his hand, and he has a decent bit of mana, but I don't know how much he's really going to be able to hit me for. Also, with the life discrepancy between the two of us, I think there's a possibility that I could pull this one out. Let's see, whenever a creature or opponent size, create a treasure token. Ah, he's trying to get 10 treasure tokens then. Okay, so I'm just going to have to kill him before the end of this. It's a really fun card, though. Not a lot of people build around stuff like that, but he's more than likely going to try to kill one of my flyers or all of my stuff, and then we'll figure it out. But I actually have a redundancy in plan. Ah, there we go. Alright, so... You know what I'm going to do? Alright, so this is going to be a risky move, I'm not going to lie, because at this point I kind of just have to swing out and, you know, hope for the best here, so... Okay, that actually sort of does help. Alright, so this is how this is going to go. Then 8 damage here. And essentially what he is going to have to do is get something. He's going to have to either wipe the board or do something along those lines. I don't know if he's going to be able to, but I have a negate up if need be. So this is going to be hard because I only have 1 card in my hand, so I kind of really have to make this count. Yeah, no. And I think that may put me where I need to be. Yep. Yeah, I think he's got me. Okay. Well, it was fun playing with you guys. I really wish I could have ended this video on this one, but yeah. I guess it doesn't really matter all that much, just because of the fact that, oh, wow. Oh. That's actually really good, because I can get a swamp. Alright, we might be back in business now. Alright, so this could go either way. He could get a bunch of treasure tokens and beat me, which, if he does, bravo to him, but if not, Bantu. There we go. Okay. Alright, let's see. I just need to get through with one of these. He's thinking right now, so I'm a little bit worried. He's also tapping stuff, so that makes me worried too. Usually when they think a lot about what they're tapping, I think he's probably trying to use another nickel bolus because, well, maybe. I don't know. Let me see. Okay. Ah, he is trying to get another nickel bolus, so he's going to sacrifice a bunch of stuff. He's kind of putting himself a little bit behind on the strategy here, so I don't know. Of course, he could just swing out. I mean, it really depends on what I draw this turn, because I really have to kill this guy at this point. But the time is on my side a little bit with this, so let's see what happens. Ooh. Yeah, there we go. Alright, there it is. So I basically have to kill him pretty much next turn. Because I am pretty much done at that point. Alright, so either man, this deck is like crazy. Yeah, I think they're probably going to get their whole strategy of getting all their tokens and stuff, but that's okay. As I said, more than anything, I kind of just wanted to, you know, finish the video out, and it looks like that's about to happen, so yeah. Huh, but he tapped all out for that. Okay. Just in case. Okay, and that worked out. I'm really surprised about that. Oh, Okay, guys, well, that doesn't really show, like, what the deck can do, but you can imagine having a ton of those things out, and then, the Field of the Dead. I'll just go back to the deck. So anyway, what you saw that was the problem is that I didn't get some of my really good stuff, so... Yeah, let me see. The stuff I was hoping to get. This would have helped me a lot because it would have gotten rid of his treasure tokens and taken the edge off a little bit. But what would have been better is if I would have gotten the Field of the Dead online a lot quicker. But that doesn't always happen. So anyway, I showed you guys that this deck can win as long as you do the right stuff. But besides that, this is Brandon from Dolphin Quest. And don't forget to stay cool and don't flip out.